All right, guys. So, as many of you know already, unfortunately, yesterday there was an attack on the Capitol in which a lone actor had rammed into a barricade around the Capitol, right? And apparently, after he ran into the barricade, he had got out of the car with a knife and ended up injuring two police officers. One of which, whom has sadly passed away. His name was Officer Billy Evans. He's like a 17-year veteran on the force. Rest in peace to him. And another officer, was injured as well, but his injuries appear to be non-life threatening at this point. The suspect who did this was subsequently shot and killed, right, by one of the officers on site after he had got out and tried to lunge at the police officers. And, by the way, guys, I just want to say rest in peace to all the Capitol police officers this year who've lost their lives. I know it's been really, really tough for that police force, considering the things that have happened this year. And I just want to, give my condolences to everybody who lost their life. Okay, let's rewind here. Apparently, the guy who rammed the barricade, his name was Noah Green, right? And he was a member of the Nation of Islam. He was a follower of Louis Farrakhan, from the information that we know right now. And apparently, he crashed the barricade so hard that his airbag was deployed. So when I was first hearing this story and thinking about this story, I'm like, this is weird because, if you would think that he crashed that hard, that his airbag was deployed, his car was totaled, that he would be dizzy, right? He would be, kind of shaken up, and for him to get out of the car with a knife and still be able to injure the police officers. Now, it's unclear whether or not one of the police officers had got injured from the ramming itself. I'm unsure about that. But to me, I just found it interesting how he was able to overcome that initial shock and just get out and just, try to lunge at police officers with a knife. That was kind of crazy to me. But, also when this whole thing was happening, it was just really a shame because, there was a period in which nobody knew who it was. Obviously, it was an ongoing situation. And then you just see people on Twitter, right? Like just waiting for the race to be revealed, waiting to see what the suspect's race is so they can push a narrative, right? And this, honestly, it happens on both sides, guys. I mean, I obviously think it's even worse with the liberals because they're the ones that really, really, really are pushing this thing right now, right? That, every single attack or every single mass shooting or something like that has to be a function of white supremacy. So they were just waiting, right? And quite honestly, guys, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous too. It would have been very bad, when in regards to censorship, in regards to the conservative movement, in regards to the Republican Party, if this had been somebody that was white and, had been associated with, some type of white nationalist movement or was a Trump supporter. It would have been bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? So I was nervous too because I seen how this game go, all the censorship that happened after the Capitol. If this would have happened again, right? If this would have been the same narrative, I can imagine that we would have seen more crackdown and censorship. They would have cracked down harder. Obviously it was a tragic event, but I am relieved that it was not somebody that was associated with, the conservative movement or the Republican Party. The liberal media would have went crazy. They would have went absolutely nuts, okay? But like I said, it wasn't, right? Unfortunately for them. So now that this is a black guy who is Muslim, now here comes the mental gymnastics games, okay? Here come the mental gymnastics games because the liberals basically have boxed themselves into a hole where every single attack, right, every single mass shooting has to be a white supremacist. It has to be somebody that's white, that's Christian. It has to be, right? They profile these people, okay? And you saw what happened in Colorado, okay, where, they framed him as a white Arab, right? All of a sudden, Arab people are now Caucasian, they're white. And that's how they did that mental gymnastics trick. So I was wondering, what is going to be the mental gymnastics trick for this one, right? And lo and behold, Ilhan Omar, one of our favorite politicians, right? does not fail to deliver. As she tweets, again, keep in mind, body's not cold yet. This is at 4:44 p.m. yesterday. Bodies aren't even cold, right? We don't even have all the information. She tweets, heartbroken to learn another Capitol Police officer was killed while protecting the Capitol. My thoughts and prayers go out to the officer's family, and the entire Capitol police force. The death toll would have been worse if the assailant had an AR-15 instead of a knife. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. I literally was like, this tweet is uneffing believable. It really is. Because it just shows the complete disregard for human life, for the situation itself, for patience, right? Because she could not wait. She could not wait to push a political narrative. And obviously with Ilhan Omar being, you know, a African Muslim, right? Obviously the mental gymnastics that she had to do was on an Olympic level, right? And she pulled it off. I ain't gonna lie. She pulled it off because she had to do a Olympic level mental gymnastic trick to push a narrative that's going to deflect blame away from the person that the blame should go on, which is the individual in and of itself. Not anybody else, not any other group, just the individual. But nope, what she had to do is that she had to make this political. Body's not even cold. We barely know anything about the suspect. If he had had an AR-15, it would have been worse. Come on now. It just shows that you don't care about the actual situation. You don't care about the facts. All you care about is your narrative. All you care about is your agenda to implement mass gun control on all responsible gun-toting citizens who have nothing to do with this situation. This situation had nothing to do with guns. How do you come to the conclusion that this would have been worse with an AR-15, right? You don't even know all the details. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if this man rammed his car into a barricade, right, for the airbag to be deployed, I mean, you would think that it would have been a lot harder. It would have took him more time to grab an AR-15, right, or, you know, some other weapon, right? You would think that it would took him a lot longer to actually get his weapon ready to execute an attack than it would for him just to grab a knife, right? And if he would have had to take extra time to do that, then you would think that the Capitol Police would have had extra time to respond, right? Obviously, there's an initial shock factor on both sides. So time is of the essence, right? And I would think that it would take a lot more time to get AR-15 ready, right? To get it out of the vehicle, to do everything you need to do with it, right? Than it would to just grab a knife. So to sit here and come to this conclusion that it would have been a lot worse if they had used the AR-15 is ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's reckless. And this is exactly what's wrong with our politics. Again, these people just cannot wait to push some type of narrative. They couldn't say it was a white supremacist. They couldn't say he was Christian, right? They couldn't say he was Arab, right? Apparently Arabs are Caucasians now, okay? So they couldn't go. It wasn't a Trump supporter, not a conservative, right? Not a Republican. So all the identities that they try to use, right? All the talking points they try to use, oh, well, you don't really have those. So now the new trick is to say, oh, well, if it would have been a gun, it would have been worse. That's the new trick. These are how these politicians operate. They don't take time to really examine the situation, take a step back, and truly, mourn for those who lost their lives. And to really think through the situation before you speak. She just put that out there because she had to make sure that the narrative doesn't go on the fact that this person, the suspect, was a member of the Nation of Islam and a follower of Louis Farrakhan. Right? That's what she wanted to deflect from. The ultimate deflection was from the fact that this person was a member of the Nation of Islam. Right? So there will be 2 attacks by Muslims in the last 3 weeks. 2 terror attacks, basically, if you want to classify this as that. So now you know where that narrative is going. So she got, again, desperate to try to keep it from going that direction. This is what she has to do. She has to make it about guns, even though this has nothing to do with guns. And it's just sad, man. It really is just sad that this is where we are in the state of politics, where these politicians use every single last one of these events for as political ammo. They don't even care about the people that lost their lives. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Now that I think about it, I thought about this a lot. The biggest friend of the NRA are the Democrats. Because every time something like this happens and they go out tweeting stuff like that, people just go buy more guns. People just go buy more guns. All this type of rhetoric really is not playing in the favor of what they say they want, right? They want more gun control, but this is really leading to more people buying more guns because you guys, every single time something happens, whether there's a gun or not, for whatever reason, you gotta blame guns instead of blaming people. Obviously, this person probably had some mental illness or he had something going on. Like I said, I was reading that he was distraught from the pandemic. He may have been disaffected. He may have been unemployed. I don't know, right? Obviously, it's not an excuse, but I'm just saying. Instead of looking into the deeper reasons for why this happened, everybody wants to make a conclusion based off surface level stuff. Well, what religion was he? What race was he? What gender was he? That's how people want to do this. All this surface level analysis. Because everybody has an agenda that they want to push. Nobody wants to take a step back and figure out, okay, why exactly did this happen? This is just a shame, right? And it's really sad to see our politicians stoop this low, right? This is the lowest level I've seen a politician stoop when it comes to trying to take advantage of a tragedy. And like I said, it is a damn shame in our politics. And, I honestly don't know how Ilhan Omar got reelected. I really don't. Her constituents should be ashamed of her, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.